So we are recording this video around the time when in the Catholic Church we celebrate All Saints Feast Day and All Souls Day. And they're both connected with joy when we think that one day we'll be in heaven, but also it's mixed with sadness because we think of those who left us, and it's not always easy to think of them when we miss them so much, right? But this time is also an occasion to have a look what are the Jewish customs connected with the deceased and the cemeteries. In the Catholic world, we are accustomed to visiting the cemeteries, especially in the month of November. But what about Jewish cemeteries? In fact, they're not visited very often. Even family graves are not often visited. Traditionally, people go to the cemeteries before the Jewish New Year, Rosh Hashanah, which is celebrated in September, October, and visiting graves of loved ones before holidays such as Rosh Hashanah or Yom Kippur helps to meditate on the themes of the holidays, such as inner renewal, repentance, reflection on the purpose of life, and personal growth through the memories of the loved ones, and also what was good or bad in their lives. Visiting graves can add depth and perspective to the high holidays. A Jewish gravestone is called matzeva, and it is placed over a grave 1 year after a person's death. Big tombs are dedicated to prominent rabbis and their families, and these impressive tombs are called ochel, meaning tent, and are a type of a synagogue. It is a place of prayer, supplication, and reflection. And so graves, just like in the Catholic world, are visited to pay tribute to the deceased. The visitors often recite psalms there, asking God to allow those who have departed to see his glory forever. Flowers are not brought to Jewish cemeteries because the deceased cannot take anything with them after they die. And for them, earthly beauty loses its power. Additionally, placing flowers on graves is associated with idol worship, a practice in some pagan religions, even today. After death, everyone is equal. For this reason, a special care is taken to ensure that no grave is more attractive than another. Similarly to the Catholic tradition, lamps or candles are lit on graves, though this is a fairly new custom. Traditionally, lamps or special candles are lit in homes to honor the memory of the deceased. Sometimes we hear about Jewish groups visiting famous tombs. These visits are not made to pray to the deceased, but rather to honor their memory. Praying to the dead is forbidden in Judaism because it is considered to be a form of idolatry. Rather, the graves of famous rabbis are visited to show respect and to honor their memory. Often notes with personal intentions are left there, but they are addressed directly to God and not to the person buried there. The intention is for God to reward the good deeds done during the Rebbe's lifetime by blessing those who leave their intentions on their graves. Certain practices are avoided in Jewish cemeteries. For instance, men hide tzitzit, the fringes attached to talit katan. They do not put on a talit or study the Torah there. The idea is to avoid embarrassing the deceased because after their death, they are no longer capable of performing commandments, mitzvot, such as wearing talit. A question that we often hear is, why are stones placed on Jewish graves? They are left there to show that the deceased are still remembered and that their graves are visited. But there is another reason connected to a certain, we could say, superstition, mentioned also in the Talmud, Harayot 13b. According to this belief, reading what is written on a gravestone causes one to forget what they have learned while studying the Torah. The stones, especially on flat graves, covers some of the letters on the matzeva, making the text on the gravestone illegible. And so this is a practical way of ensuring that the Torah teachings are not going to be forgotten. And now we will finish our short time of reflection with a quote from the book of Kohelet, chapter 6, verse 12. Who can possibly know what is good for man in life during the short span of his futile existence, which he should consider like a shadow? In its commentary on this verse, Midrash Kohelet Rabbah likens human life to a passing shadow. But this is a positive vision. The Midrash notes that we cannot hold back the fleeting shadows of time in this world, but we can invest them with meaning and purpose. And by doing so, those fleeting shadows will leave in their wake eternal moments that will last forever with God. And so, I hope that this reflection can inspire us to find the purpose of our lives in eternity. May it also be an opportunity to thank God for all the goodness we have received from Him, as well as from our departed loved ones.